Hi, have you ever wondered how to draw this dead leaf? No? Me neither.
So in this video, we will discuss the differences or similarities between industrial design type sort of sketching and more illustration or illustratory sketching. And for industrial design, I'm going to use my good old cheap fine liner. And for illustration, I'm going to use a pencil and a fine liner or a pen, depending what I want to use. So the good thing with industrial design, as most of you know who follow me, is that I don't care much about how messy it is because I can always do something with it. So that's what we're going to do here. What I do want to do is split this in half. So somewhere here would be the half of it. And I do want to use the ellipsis. Sorry, let me set up the what is it called? The axis of my ellipsis 1, 2, and make it a bit more interesting. Then I can shape it a bit and adjust my ellipses to make them more sensical. So as you can see, this is also just a little bit of what we talked about in the previous video of using ellipses without the squares around them. It is definitely possible. And I am really just going to do the lines for the legs, and the legs should touch the ground like that. I decided to just go with a little derpy robot, something like this. I'm probably going to add a face just because it's fun to add the derpy little face to our robot here. But as you can see, I'm really mostly drawing through everything. I am not really concerned with not drawing through shapes. What I talk about a lot is that even if you have several lines, if you just make a couple of them stronger, the eye will usually choose the one that you that makes most sense in general, because the eye is doing pattern recognition, right? So they want to get something that's correct. So here we're going to have the ellipses like that, and that's that foot, and this is this foot. So here our ellipses would be probably almost straight to the camera, so we wouldn't see what's really happening there. There we go. And then let's enforce our lines a little bit now that we have the base construction down. We can add a little bit of cross-hatching. I was thinking if I should use markers, just gray markers, but I decided against it because I just want to concentrate on the lines and line quality and drawing itself. And yeah, when you talk about industrial design sketching, you usually also talk about product sketching, and I'm less of a product sketcher and more of a robot sketcher, I guess, or I don't know. I like sci-fi stuff. I sketch less products, even though I do enjoy sketching products as well, but you will mostly see me draw other things. So I thought let's stick with that, because I want to try and draw the same sort of robot or similar to the robot on the other side as well. So we have some sort of mechanism in here. We do not need to go into detail with our mechanism. We can even make it a bit darker because we don't need to see all the details and everything that's going on in there. Let me just add a slight detail, even though I didn't want to add detail. All right, so this is the industrial design. Obviously, we can do cutting lines here, all sorts of interesting things, or what I want to do really here is we can make our robot as derpy as we want to, something like this. And then make sure that the eyes are in very different areas. There we go. That's our industrial design sketchy robot, and let's do the same thing. And the first thing that you will see is that the construction is the same. So I still, well, we don't need the arrow there, but I still want to construct my robot as much as possible, especially in this construction line, well, construction phase, sorry, because then we're going to build on that. So I know that my legs are going to come something like this, and then here are the feet, and then the other foot. I'm a little bit looser now with the pencil, since I know that this is either going to be erased or it's not going to be that much visible anyways. So let me... But as you can see, I use the basics, the fundamentals, ellipses, everything, pretty much the same way I would be using it if I was doing industrial design type sketching. Let me set up the eyes here as well. Something like that. Okay. Maybe move this leg a little bit forward. Like that, and then do this leg as well. All right, and now this is pretty much enough. Or maybe I forgot to do the internal part here. Something like that. I am going to switch straight to my Tombow pen. And then now I'm just gonna follow my lines that I set down. The good thing about this Illustrator type sketching is that it's okay if the lines are wobbly. Whenever I'm doing a more ID sketching style, I want my lines to be as crisp and clean as possible. And when I'm doing more illustratory stuff, I don't mind the wobbliness. I actually welcome it. I also interrupt my lines. Like, I suggest thinness by just interrupting my lines and letting the viewer fill in the missing. Like, for example, here it should be relatively thin, so I just leave that out completely. Here I do something similar as well. This side can be... I will probably come back and thicken a lot of these lines, just because I like to push the cartooniness when I'm doing stuff like this. I didn't even construct here the what is it? Ankle joint. I sort of know from the other one what I need to do, and I can also throw like a dark shadow over it, and that should be okay. So we can play a lot more with shadows here. I have to do less cross-hatching. I can just do dark full blocks of shadows when I'm doing this sort of illustration. So once again, this is my approach. This is not necessarily a universal approach. It's what I sort of picked up throughout the years and what I saw other people do, and I sort of copied it for myself. And obviously the more intricate and detailed you want to make it, the more you can make it. It's really up to you and up to the style that you like to do. So this would be our foot here. We can add a little bit of shadow there as well. We don't need too much detail there. And here we have this little ellipse, and then the inside of that ellipse. And as I said, I just like to leave the lines go into almost nothingness, and then the viewer or somebody can figure out what is actually happening there. I don't need to draw it all in. And then now I can come in, and I'm not going to do cross-hatching, I'm just going to do a full black body there. And that's what I like also about illustratory style. It becomes a little bit cartoony, comic-y, like comic strippy, but that is sort of the style that I really enjoy. And you can also throw a shadow on this internal, I guess it's an axis as well. And then here, as I said, since I touch it barely, I leave some white empty spaces, and I just make sure to turn it. And then we have a little bit of this poking out here as well, something like that. And then you can come in with all sorts of details, of course. Let me speed up the drawing for that a little bit. Okay, so here we have the two visual, industrial design type sketching and then more illustratory sketching. Yeah, this is definitely way more sketchy. I could have done an underlay as well with marker like this, but yeah, I decided it's just faster like this, and I enjoy this style a lot. It just, this feels sometimes a little bit too clean. And this is just more lively. That's why I like so you can see the ruggedness, the lines here. They bring a little bit of life back into it. So it really depends on you how much from one style or the other style you want to use. I definitely mix them a little bit here and there. But with industrial design, the most interesting or important thing is construction and drawing through, and that's visible throughout it, so you can see my construction, and I still don't think it is that bothersome. Like me, I'm helped a little bit if I add in these axes. That's why I also did the central axis for the construction here. And as for the illustration, at least as I said, my approach, I like to really have these strong outlines. It makes it a bit comic booky or a bit strippy, but it pops quite a bit stronger, and you can have a lot of fun with it. And you can add a lot of these little imperfections, dirtiness, what things that happen with materials. I find it less doable within an industrial design sketching style. So these two are, two different approaches, and it is up to you which one you like. So yeah, this is my approach to these two styles. Tell me which one you like more and which one you use more in your own drawings. And with that, we have come to the end of this video. As always, I'm looking forward to reading your comments, and hit that like if you enjoyed this video. Maybe consider subscribing if you want to see more stuff like this. You can also follow me on Instagram for more drawing related stuff. And if you really like what I do and you want to support me, check out the links in the description down below. But as always, the most important thing is that you folks have a great time, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.